But we are at 6:04, so we could call the regular board meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Carrier? Here. Iden?
Here.
Jones? Here. Mazzer?
Here.
And Better is absent.
Welcome to all that are here, and we will stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys are getting so much better at that.
I saw that little nod.
I saw it too.
Little nod of approval.
That's a nod of us forming to relate.
And it's not my ways, it's just the way
It's
of the United
grammatical.
States of America. That's why. All right. And Mr. Phipps will be here a little later. He's running a little late. So, Eric, what do you got for us?
Yeah, been a busy summer, been busy, custodial staff's been busy cleaning all the facilities, cleaning all the floors, shampooing everything, wiping out all the walls. Been really busy, they're right on schedule, so. Another item, let's see here, all the stain and ceiling tiles, I know you guys have been concerned about roof leaks and everything. Right now, we currently have no roof leak. I'm not saying that, it's been dry for a few weeks too, but in the middle of July 17th, I changed every stain and ceiling tile in the building because contractors were saying, well, is that an old leak, is that a new leak? So every stain and ceiling tile has been changed, they're all brand new, the ones that were stained, and they're aware of it, and they're still trying to do some warranty work on the gym, or main gym. They think they have all the leaks fixed, but the company who came from Louisiana here didn't like the way that the roof was installed, and they want to put a 16-foot by 100-foot new section all on both edges of the roof. So right now there's a lot of small sections all put together, and there's a lot of seams. They want to eliminate all the seams. They want to put a whole new section in there at no cost to the district. So still waiting for that to make sure it'll all go through warranty information. They're trying to get it approved. So currently there are 0 roof leaks. This upcoming weekend, November 2008, all of our floor treads and our walls and our stair treads and handrails and everything were all coated with the D&D coating product, which we don't have to strip and wax floors anymore. They said 3 to 5 years. You should be able to hopefully get 3 to 5 years out of the product. We're going on 9 years and we haven't done anything to it yet. Our stair tread, the handrails are kind of getting in bad shape, especially down by the high school art room. The other ones aren't near as bad. But the company's going to come in this weekend and sand them down, recoat them all, same color paint, put the sealer on there. It comes with a 3-year warranty. So if anything gets scratched over a 3-year period, they'll come back in and touch it all up for free. So they're going to be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday doing all the stairways. So people are trying to get around the building. They'll only have them blocked off one at a time until it's dry. Also been busy summer with the HVAC controls. They started that process over the summer, actually back in February, just trying to reprogram the whole building. They came in here over the summer, switched everything over. We worked out a few bugs, still maybe a few more bugs. We've been trying to run everything, and there's still some control work on my end that I'm asking them. There's no extra cost. I'm trying to get it to how I like it, making things easier in the future. They're doing that. Plus, they want to make sure everything works in heating season, so they're kind of keeping some of the old stuff set up yet as an emergency need-be basis. So everything's going good and smooth for that transition. Auxiliary gym floor has been redone. All the parking lot cracks have been refilled. All the pictures throughout the building, I think there's 271 of them. They're all changed over to new pictures. So I see a lot of kids walk around the building looking to see if they're up there on one of the walls somewhere. Camera update. When we moved to the building, we had 64 cameras. They were all run on coax. You guys get the approval to put in a new camera system. They started that in July. We had prepaid for 100 cameras installed. When they went back to the drawing board and started placing them and making sure we're going to have coverage around the whole building, they thought that we wouldn't be happy with 100. They thought we needed 115. I told them I didn't have it budgeted. They said that they were pulling wires so much quicker than what they expected. They given the 15 extra cameras for free. So they're due to costs and I guess savings in labor, they were able to do it in equipment to justify it. So we're going to have right around 115 cameras. They're all 4 megapixels, and they're drive around the outside of the building. We used to have 7 exterior cameras, and now there are 34 of them or something on the outside alone. So we have good coverage around the whole facility now. And the other, I guess, item, I know I'm usually here asking to spend money. I do try to save money too. But back in 2011, AEP or all electrical companies deregulated, which means you could shop out your electrical price pricing. And so in 2011, we signed up with Hicksville Energy, who locked in our rates. And then also in 2011, I did a study on trying to do solar field. It's a 1 megawatt field, same exact as what this company's. I've been checking this out for a while. So finally get to the point where the government's kicking in some rebate money, and the cost savings are there for the cost of the panels. First page just kind of shows I have it highlighted. Make sure I can do my copy though. Okay. First page pretty much shows the estimated annual savings, $31,822.58 a year. Back in 2011, when they were doing this, we didn't see the cost. We didn't see how it would be worth it. Find the page here. At that time, they were looking at a cost savings of, I think it was $96,000, but that was at the end of, this is what the company, this is how we can save more money now. Back in 2011, over 20 years, the total was going to be $95,000 in savings over 20 years. Well, now we're looking at saving almost $32,000 a year. So over the course of 20 years, you're more, $600,000 mark. So you're looking at, $31,000 a year times 20 years. So you're looking to save a lot more money. The company that I've been checking into, the guy's local, and he's actually, their office and everything is located, is Pat Wiedenhammer. They're out of Hamilton, Indiana. They've been doing this for a little while now. The earliest they could start would be the summer of 2018. It'd be a fixed-in, locked-in rate that we would agree upon. There'd be no increase at all over the whole 20-year period. They would come in and put a stone base, and the government makes you fence the whole thing in too. And actually, if you flip back to the last page, kind of shows you the location. It's approximately 3.5 to 4 acres of ground, and it's in the back area where we don't mow right now, because we actually have it baled twice a year or 3 times a year. It all depends on how fast it grows. It wouldn't be in any other way. The only concern I always had from the beginning would be if we'd ever put this in and 10, 15 years down the road, we decide we want to bring our football field here, our track here, we want to put in a soccer field, we want to put baseball, softball diamonds here. That would be my only concern on this whole project. If you didn't want to be landlocked or have it be in the way, I guess. At the end of 20 years, or during the 20 years, they take care of all the billing, they take care of all the maintenance, and at the end of the 20-year period, we have 3 choices. Pretty much, we can renew our contract and do another 20 years, and they do all the maintenance again. We'd set in our rate at 20-year point for the next 20 years. We could buy it out and buy the solar field from them, and we would maintain it. We'd have to fix everything at whatever cost they would say at the end of 20 years, or we could tell them at the end of 20 years, get rid of it, or we decided we're not going to do it anymore. And they would pull everything out, remove all the fencing, they remove all the solar panels, they would put it back to where it was before, and that's at no cost to the school district. They're fully insured, bonded. They put only in tier 1 panels in, which have a expectancy of 35 to 45 year life cycle. They're treating the solar panels, and from when they would break ground until 6 weeks, until they're completed, they're looking at like a 6-week turnaround. I asked them for a list of references, somebody local hopefully, or somebody in Ohio nearby that I can check with. And they said it's kind of funny. They said right now we've already signed the contract. We're going to be breaking ground with Antwerp here real soon. I mean, as in they might already broke ground right now, because I talked to him probably 3 weeks ago. And he also said Tenora was another school that they're signing the contract with, and Defiance and West Unity. He was hoping to have 5 schools in this location, kind of keep contractors close by, using the same contractors on all 5 school districts, and it'd be the summer of 2018. Kind of broke it down from the second to last page, how much you'd save per month. And historical costs, I give them for a 2-year cycle, I give them all of our electrical rates for 2 years. They tracked it, they averaged it down for what it was January through December. And then the cost from our electrical provider and the solar panel provider is the first one. And then cost from utilities from AEP, what we would pay for Hicksville Energy and everything else. It's become easier and a little cheaper for us to do it, I guess, now compared to back in 2011. When they deregulated, AEP, pretty much they had to drop the rates because we signed up with a third party, which we still are. But AEP started throwing riders on there. So they start throwing riders on there to get more money, and they also we can only lock a rate in on 2 of the 4 charges. We can't do anything with distribution charge or customer charge. So in the end, they get you one way or the other. And going solar, and it makes a little bit more sense now because of the cost savings. And there's no cost to us other than we have to give them, not give them, but give them the 4 acres pretty much, so they can put all everything there. So. there any questions about it at all?
I know Northwest Electric, they came out to the deal and talked to us about taking the solar panels, and they were going to put them at their location. Basically, we would own them, we would get the credit, we would get the lower fees, but it would be out of our hair. It wouldn't be something we would see every day. And I know this company came out also, and we talked to them, and actually I think we liked them better than doing it through Northwest Electric. Is there any options? Now, granted, if you were going to go off by 4 acres, you know.
He actually spoke, this gentleman's from Hicksville. He's a Hicksville guy. I mean, he actually spoke to John Merkel himself. And he said, hey, there's a possibility the school would maybe consider maybe putting a solar field in and saving money, but they might not want to give up the ground behind them and not be able to, over the next 20 years, put something in. You know, is that a possibility that you'd be interested in or selling them 4 acres? Because they can put it, you know, whatever distance they need to put it. It's just whether or not it's going to be on our property or we buy more ground for it, or lease the ground from John or something like that for a 20-year period.
Would this affect a road if we wanted to put it across?
No, not at all. Not for any location that we've ever talked about.
Okay, so if this ground here is locked in for 20 years, would we be, and let's just assume we weren't going to do the road across, what if we doubled it up?
The road would actually come up this way.
Oh, okay.
We'll go to 18. They've also talked another route where it comes up here, goes around the retention pond and then joins.
So it'd be a
up.
non-issue anyhow.
No, road has no issue whatsoever.
So then, what about the possibility of adding on and making it a larger field?
You could, but they don't recommend that because you only want to do so much. 1 megawatt system, that's half our electricity. And actually, it could be less than that. That's the most they'd ever want to put in is half of what you have. Because there are certain times of the year you can't generate enough, and there's other times of the year, like in the summertime when we're closed, we generate too much. And so they said it's a waste, you're wasting it, you know.
Well, I didn't know if it was something where you end up selling it back to them.
Oh, yeah, you can.
You know.
Yeah, you can. You can sell back AEP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the cost up front?
Nothing. No cost whatsoever. We just, whatever we use, it'll be a meter put on like your house. Whatever we use from their solar field, we pay 8.5 cents a kilowatt. That's no extra fees or taxes or riders or anything else. That was on the very front page. That would be the fee used for the PV production.
Eric, if we move forward with this idea to investigate more, I just, thinking 20, 30, 40 years down the road, when none of us are here any longer, working at the school potentially, is there a way, someone to have a layout of potential movement of a football field or a baseball field or just a practice area? Because that's my biggest concern is, like you said, you put those solar panels back there, it takes up 4 acres, and all of a sudden we get a board in here who's adamant about, we need a practice football field out here for the junior high and high school. And, right there goes 3 acres. Or, we decide to add a bus barn back there. We decide to put the road in. All of a sudden, because those things can happen over the next 40 or 50 years.
The bus barn wouldn't be an issue. The road won't be an issue. It'd be the athletic facilities would be the.
It's almost like, you almost need like a rough draft layout of what potentially, where this is going to go and what space we're going to have. I mean, I personally don't see the football field moving out here ever. That's just me. But practice facilities, that's the big one for me.
Yep.
Now, let's say you wanted to add a practice field. Is there enough room right here
Yep.
for a field?
Yep.
Now, granted, that's just one.
Now we're
one
talking
sport,
practice.
one
We're not talking,
Understand?
Yeah, because sometimes when we've talked about that before, where do you start, where do you stop? You start putting that in, and you have to have restrooms, and you're going to have the spectators come, you're going to need additional parking, then you're going to need drinking fountains and showers and bleachers, and I mean.
Yeah, no, and who knows if we'll ever want that?
Right.
But we're kind of locking ourselves out of that choice. That's.
Well, I also look at, since I've been here, we've spent $120,000 on a new track surface. 7, 8 years ago. We just spent $60,000 on or not, maybe it was $40,000 on a new scoreboard. Spent $65,000 on all new lighting. We spent $125,000 on a brand new locker room building on the football field. We put run irrigation lines over for the practice fields. We had them all crowned and done. Why would we want to take hundreds of thousands of dollars and just throw it away? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, right now we have a pretty good deal with the park. Our baseball, softball diamonds, we pay a small fee, I think, for what we pay them a year. They mow it, they line it, they drag it, they take trash out, make sure the bleachers are safe, they clean the dugouts. That's extra manpower you have to hire, because I don't have time to do all that stuff, or neither there's a groundkeeper or our custodial staff to do that type of stuff. So I don't know why you put all that money into that if your intent was to move out
You're
here.
being too logical, Bassett. Like I said, 30, 40 years from now, somebody is going to show up here with their own agenda.
Well, 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
I don't see it
Yeah.
working.
I know. That's what I said. That's what
I'm looking at, okay, 30 years, saving $33,000 a year, I think you can afford, 900, got $1 million there set aside, you can maybe afford to do it then.
Mark Bassett.
That it was placed to the right of the field versus to the left? Is there-
No particular reason.
I was just thinking that if we kind of shifted it as far away from all the other lands that we have to make the most use out of what we have.
Yep, that's really, all the electricity actually comes in, you're looking at the print, you see the tan spot kind of there in the back where the building would be? You see that 3 tan little rectangular areas? Right here. All our electricity in the building comes in this way.
Oh.
So it wouldn't matter if it's better from the middle or the edges, no,
I'm
you
just
move
wondering
one way or
if,
the
if
other.
it went like this way, if it would be a better use of.
No, we're just putting into scale how many acres you need. We've had companies come here and they talk about putting up on the roof. I mean, a lot of them, this way you're not landlocked or anything else, but we have a 25-year roof warranty and they say, well, you got to remove all your solar stuff off so we can address the leak. And then it's just a lot of extra work.
That's a good idea. That's what
You guys think,
I'm fully supportive of the idea. And again, my high school mind, thinking about, again, I always say this, and it's not academics number one to us, but we have half the community that has no kids that go to school here, maybe grandkids, maybe nieces and nephews, but our sports teams are very important to them. And one of the biggest problems we have, like, again, with practice facilities, not sport facilities out here, is, like the junior high kids, we've been working on this for 3 years, having we keep the junior high fall sports, getting them all down to the football field, because these kids are on cars, they're 13, 14 years old. We're trying to babysit them for 30, 40 minutes after school sometimes.
Got that problem
And
solved.
we finally got that solved, thank you, yes. But, a year ago, we were talking about field house. So these are things that I know that, if we're talking about adding on and putting potential facilities here, 10 years from now, other people are going to be in 20 years and 30 years. And, the field house idea is something I don't think is going to die. I think it's going to come up again because Amherst put one in, Wayne Tracy's put one. Eventually Sonora has one, Harrisville has more gyms, and we talk about that idea of getting our kids home sooner and having the right facilities for those kids. It's just something that's always going to be a hot topic item. So my concern again is just
Right,
being
but like the
landlocked.
field house waiver we discussed, the bus
Yeah.
barn and the road, that would not affect any of that.
Perfect.
The one thing that's been probably brought up more than anything that they've talked about an athletic facility out back has been a practice baseball, softball, mainly for elementary kids to go out for kickball, have a fenced-in area, baseball, football, whatever they want to do out there, and high school can also, middle school can use it too. So that would, no bleachers, no dugouts or anything like that, just something for them to go out back and actually have a practice on for gym class reasons.
Seems almost too good to be true, doesn't it? You hear this?
yeah, it really does.
What-
That,
what-
yeah, you become a skeptic,
Yeah.
What would leasing 3 to 4 acres from somebody cost a year?
I have no idea on that.
I mean, I just wondered if you get $20,000 savings, and it's not on our property, maybe that would be.
If you can add, $5,000 to $8,000 an acre, I guess what typical, it's farm grounds, you're probably getting, what, $8,000 an acre for farm ground? $32,000.
Buy it, whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of 1 year, we'd save that much money to be able to purchase 4 acres of ground. In 19 years,
You mentioned that he had spoken to.
Yeah.
Okay, was the person favorable?
he didn't say, he said he would think about it.
Okay.
If it ever came to that point, he had a heads up on it.
He who speaks first loses.
Well, I wasn't even going to speak with him if the board wasn't on board for doing it, whether it's on his property or on ours, and if that makes a deciding factor one way or the other either. He was just kind of hoping, Pat Wienhammer, with interest, he was hoping, or Sun Distribution, they're hoping, we would give them a verbal, in the future, hey, we want to be on board for their 2008 campaign, and they would mark us down as one of the 5 schools they want to get done in Northwest Ohio, so. They're doing it, the main reason why they're doing it for it, they do a lot of other jobs, but this is one that they get all the rebate incentive money from the AE, not AEP, but from the government for tax incentives. So it's a big write-off, and they get money back for doing stuff like this. That's the reason why they can do all that up front, when they might get a $300,000 tax break for doing something this size.
Like if it could be placed at the end of the
retention pond going towards 18.
That's what I was wondering, maybe more, instead of squarish, more long and rectangular.
They don't know, that doesn't matter to
That into
them.
the,
On the other side of a potential road.
yeah, I mean, you know, you could have a pretty good, area to do, whether it be some type of
But
sports
what I'm
activity.
hearing is
or-
that most of you think it's a good idea. We're quibbling over the area.
Yeah.
And the area is no concern to them whatsoever. He was just kind of showing how much ground it would take up. I was asking him, because I've done a lot of study on them, that they do make what they call a tracking solar panel. They're actually on swivel, and as the sun goes, you know, east to west, it actually tracks with it, so you can try to optimize. Those, they don't, there's a lot more cost involved with those, a lot more maintenance, so they have to charge you more. So they don't see the price break for where you're going to save extra money on it. They said the majority of that is in the summertime, and in the school district, you're closed anyway, so over those 3 months when it optimizes the most. And so they said it's probably a wash on doing something like that.
Do they buy back? Did you say they buy back?
He will buy back.
They buy back, how much?
I don't have that figure.
I know they're charging us, what, 8.5 cents?
Well, right now, we're locked in, starting this June 2017, we're locked in at 4.8 cents a kilowatt. But then they throw in a rider, and then they throw in distribution charge and customer charge. And when it all gets up there, you're up over 9 cents a kilowatt, 9.5 cents, so.
So if I could imagine if they're gonna buy it back from us, they're probably gonna give us like 2 or 3 cents.
They're gonna give us a fraction of that,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, but still, it's their paying us for it.
Yeah.
My only request is if you talk to a school that actually has had it in for
Yeah.
a couple years, to say, hey, you know what, is this?
I already asked him for that information. I said, please give me some more contacts you've had for 2 to 5 years, so I can make sure you've had no maintenance issues or nightmares or anything like that. He said, yeah, you find out if they're on board, and if they're on board for it, I'll send you all the reference information from them, so.
Thank you, Ron. Check.
No problem. Thanks, Eric.
That's all I have.
We'll be back when he does spend money.
Already shows 25 to 40,000 a year times 5.
So Deputy Phipps has made it here, so I'm glad that you made it safely, we didn't get a ticket.
That's close. I am David Phipps, as you all know, the Deputy Lyons County Sheriff's Office. I'm the DARE officer. Sorry, I apologize for being late, and again, thank you also for letting me come into your board meeting. Just want to talk a little bit about DARE. What I've come to find out is a lot of adults don't know much about DARE or what we do, unless you've gone through the program and you're, you know. So anyway, we have 2 summer camps that we do that I hold, one in Defiance and then one also here in Hicksville. So I want to say thank you for allowing me to use your facility here in Hicksville. Mr. Countryman, Mr. Bassett has been just exceptional with working with myself in the program. Anything I need, they're right there on board. For example, this year's camp was July 11th, 12th, and 13th. We had 78 campers, up from 36 the previous year. This is our 3rd annual year. And we have 8 then additional students that were what we'll call youth staff, which is 8th through 12th graders. Campers are interims 3rd through 7th. And so we had a total of 86. So that is awesome. I mean, it more than doubled from last year. So and that's part of being able to come into the 2nd grade classroom, and we did a curriculum with that this past spring. But for example, some of the hiccups we do have is Monday prior to camp, just after 5 o'clock, I find out that the bus I'm using from a church in Defiance did not pass inspection. So I made one phone call to Mr. Bassett, who then called Mr. Countryman, and I had an extra bus in just a matter of about 10 minutes. So I want to say thank you for that. Not only did you guys provide the facility, but you provided an extra bus. You may ask why we need buses. Some of the activities that we do, it's a 3-day camp, just a day camp. We've got one day we went over to roller skating over at Auburn. One day, the 2nd day, then we went to Blackbeard's Bay Water Park, which is up at Hickory Acres Campground for an all-day event. And then also the 3rd day, we went and we played laser tag over in Fort Wayne. All things that we needed busing for. So, and plus, not only a bus, you guys provided a bus driver, so which is something that was big pressure off me because I was panicking when I called in on Monday evening, not knowing how I was going to get how I was going to transport these individuals. But that's basically what we do. When we go to camp, you may think we talk about drugs and stuff like that, which I do touch upon very little. This isn't about just saying no to drugs, because we do that. And I'm hoping to get reinforced that at home throughout the summer, but as well as just showing them good alternatives. physical activity. We play games. Everything is based on competition and based on points. So we split up into teams, which you're on the same team all 3 days. At the end of that, we tally up points, and the top 3 teams get a medal. And also, everybody gets a prize at the end as well. So don't get me wrong, it's not like it's just you lose it, you don't get anything. But some of the prizes we get a bicycle. Was it your son that was there?
Yeah.
Yes, and so hopefully he had a good time during camp. But we get donations from various businesses that how we are able to purchase bicycles, or they get donated, and so forth. A bunch of different prizes that we have. That's a little bit what we do. During the school year, then I'll let you know, I go into the 2nd and 5th grade curriculum, or 2nd and 5th grade classes, and have a curriculum. 2nd grade is 4 weeks long. 5th grade is actually 12 weeks long, with an additional graduation day with that. That's when we talk about the drug abuse, about what DARE stands for, responsibility in education. So that gets more in depth as far as saying no to drugs, how to say no and be positive about it. And by positive, I mean as far as talking in a secure way. You're not talking in a weak way, all right? But being able to do, be around friends. We talk about surrounding your friends you pick, right? You'll be friends that you want to make sure that they are doing the same activities that you do. You just want to make sure that you do have like friends with that, so you don't so you do this. You do what you got to do to stay away from drugs. I apologize for that. That's a little bit what we do out there. I mean, I know if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. But again, the biggest reason why I wanted to come in here is just say thank you guys for allowing me to use your facility. I've been there also for the last 18 months, so I've used your facility twice for the summer camps, and then this year with additional busing, which I'm very, very grateful for. Do you have any questions? It's a lot easier talking to 5th graders and 2nd graders to you guys. My goodness.
Kids love the program. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Thank you. And your son was...
Yes, both of mine. The oldest was one of the...
Yes, you staff, yes. Any other questions that the board may have?
Thank you for doing that for us, for our kids each year, because that's been around, how many years has that been involved here at Hicksville?
Oh, boy. I think it was started in Defiance County in 1991.
91.
And so we never had too many DARE officers. They pretty much stayed long-term. So I plan on being here long-term.
Soon be 30 years.
Yes.
Awesome thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, student laptops, 7 through 12 are ready to go. Got them all set up this summer. Laptop pickup is going to be, I always do it the week of fair, so the kids that have completed the online registration, our parents have completed online registration and paid their protection fee. They're able to pick them up next Monday from 9 to 12. And over the course of doing this 11 years, I used to just do 9 to 12 every day. Well, that proved to be difficult for kids like in sports and different things. So last year, I spread it out a little bit. So I do it one day 9 to 12, Tuesday I do 12 to 3, and then Wednesday I'm doing 3 to 6, and then that way I'm kind of covering all areas of the day. And then also this year I'm going to do it during open house from 6 to 7. So I have 4 opportunities, and hopefully, last year I didn't do it during open house because the online registration was due, and I felt I needed to be in there to help anybody with that. And first day of school, I probably had, I'm going to say 80 to 85 kids who had not picked up their laptops. And so it made it difficult first day of school. So I'm hoping by adding that during open house, the couple years that I did it, I gave out almost as many during open house as I did the other 3 days. So hopefully that'll help there. I'm starting to work on new student laptops so that the kids that have come to our district, right now I'm up to 10, and I think Tara has 5 to 8 more new student registrations that she's completing, and then they'll be here to do schedule changes and everything. So I'm anticipating about probably 22 students just from what Tara's given me. And we have had, if I remember my board right, either between 5 and 8 who have withdrawn. So I guess that looks good for numbers for the district there. Back to school registration, aside from a little hiccup that Steph was telling me that she had, is going fairly well. I've had a couple parents who were having difficulties, and usually when I direct them and just say, if Mr. Country's message says, go here, there's instructions. I put a great big link there that says, if you don't know your username and password, click here. A lot of parents miss that. And then that helps, so they don't have to call us for that, because I don't like giving out that stuff over the phone. So I don't give it over the phone. I direct them to go here, click. I ask for 3 pieces of information that you should know about your student, their last name, their birth date, and the grade that they're in. And then it spits back, it spits back the username and password so they can log in. And once I get that, I have very few repeat calls. And it seems to be an easy process. I did, last year, every student had a different login. So if you had a family of 5, you had 5 different usernames, passwords. I worked with the company this year so that we could link it as a family. So basically, if you have a family in the cafeteria, it uses that information to link you into a family for registration. So you have one username and password, all 5 of your kids will show up, and then you hit edit, fill in the information, and you have to do it. Probably the one complaint I did have was, why do I have to do it 5 times? Well, you do have to sign permission forms for each and every kid. You can't just sign for one kid, just legalities. You have to sign for all your kids. So it is what it is. I mean, we have to follow what the law says. Last thing, hopefully, in the past, it's probably been maybe 5 to 7 years. I would have a tech intern, a senior who has expressed an interest in the technology field, and I would work with them through the course of the year, just taking and going to the next level of things that I do. And I've not had any student who's expressed an interest for the last several years. This year, the student who worked with me during the summer, I would say, typically it took me 2 weeks to get all 400 laptops around. With his help and with just how on it he was, I had all the machines done in 4 days. So just the way that he worked, his work ethic and everything, and then he kind of expressed an interest in potentially doing this. So I talked with Mr. Countryman. We put together and kind of brainstormed some job duties that we would have for the student who would be working with me. In the past, basically during the study hall, I've been trying to remember all the kids that were interns. I know both Sailor kids were, so Tyler and Ryan. Both Jarrett kids were, so Kyle and Matthew. And I believe my very first intern was one of the past cubes, and I can't remember which one it was. And all the kids that were interns for me are now working in the tech field and probably making more money than I am. So it's always been a real good program, and it's not only helped them, but it helps me and it helps the district. And so with the brainstorming Keith and I did, like little things that there are times I just don't have enough time, like the filters and the projectors. Those really, we try and clean every summer. This summer we just didn't have time. So things like that they would do. When I have a machine that is broken, if it's something that we can repair in-house, it'd be nice just to say, hey, take a look at this, if you can take care of it. If it's a broken screen, he'll be able to package it up. He'll be able to box it properly, get the label printed and send it off, saving me half an hour of time where I can do other things, designing great cards and whatever. Troubleshooting other students. When a student comes in with an issue, a lot of times it's just a simple fix. They'll be able to say, hey, have you tried this, this, and this? Doing some troubleshooting with teachers that doesn't involve confidential things like that. A big thing is when we sold the computers back, I have a great big crate of machines that have keyboards that aren't working, trackpads that aren't working. These machines, if I had time, we could piece together and maybe make, out of the 20, 30 machines that are damaged, 2 or 3 working machines. And by getting a working machine, that's one less computer I would have to buy down the line. So honestly, if Nate's able to piece together 3 machines, he's paid for a salary for the year, because that's 3 fewer machines that I would have to buy. We're talking, when I talk with Keith, we're talking just 1 hour a day at minimum wage, so like $45 a week, or whatever minimum wage works out to be. There's something else. Oh, one of the big things, when I was talking with Keith, and we're kind of brainstorming, is, the website video. That was last changed, like, I think, Christmas time. That's something we talked with Nate. He was really excited about being able to do that. And I said, this would be a directive for you. You would have to have that monthly. The first of every month, I would want that video updated. So you can go to sporting events, grab video that maybe Mr. Priest's class has taken, and put together the 30-second intro to the website. And that would be one of his job duties. Keith said that he wanted to do a weekly upcoming events video, where Keith would do the first one. He's like, okay, little welcome to the community. This is this week's events. And then just list the week's events, the sporting events, the school events. And then Keith would mail that out kind of weekly like he does with his newsletter. And then we would also put it somewhere on the website where parents would be able to access it. And that would be a weekly task that would be put upon the intern. So, in a nutshell, that was probably longer than I intended. The potential and I think the rewards for both him and for the district would be great if we were able to move forward with that and implement this again.
I'm wondering with the advent of kind of the more intense STEM direction we're going here, if you could actually get more help eventually, more kids that are interested.
I would love that because like I said, it's been so long since I've had anybody express an interest that I honestly had forgotten that I had done this until I was like, oh, this summer I was like, oh, what would you think about this? And he was all over this. And then after I talked with Keith, I was like, here's what you do. And he said, I would love to do just the 10 quick things that I came up with. And obviously that list will grow throughout the year as I find little things for him to do. And with the STEM starting in the junior high, I can definitely see the potential.
And that's good for them, good for you.
Exactly. And so I know Keith wanted me, I wish I would have thought about this in last month, whatever last month was, July, to talk to you about. Because I know I talked a little bit with Keith. Obviously, perfect world, we want him to be able to start first day of school. And Keith said that wouldn't be a problem. We could retroactive it if everybody was on board with it. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because we wouldn't, if you decided to go ahead, we wouldn't approve it until September 4th.
Couldn't have a resolution tonight. I'd rather do that than do it
Add it
retroactive.
right to our other business and then do it that way.
Questions for Jeff? Anyone opposed?
What's your name?
Nathan Aaron.
What are you, tech assistant?
But technology intern is what the previous half dozen kids were titled. And it'd be at most 60 minutes, so at most an hour a day, minimum wage. And if we didn't have school, obviously, sorry, you lose an hour. The only exception, because I want to get all these filters clean, I'm going to ask him to come in for an hour on our, the day of, we get off for teacher in, or not teacher in service.
Work day?
Not at work day. what is it, parent-teachers conference, when we don't come in on Friday, we're gonna say, hey, Nate, you wanna come in, do all these projectors for me, then you get your out for that day that we don't have school. But there'll be very few, that's the only thing that I would see normally. And if, say, days where periods are shortened, he has 2 study halls right now. I don't know where the shortened periods, if he was only in there 30 minutes, then obviously we only do 30 minutes.
Thanks, Jeff. Anything else? I think we'll just go in order from left to right. So, Kirsten.
Just wrapping up the Tools for Schools project. Most of the supplies have been delivered to the school. A huge thanks to Pam and Sid Slattery for starting to put everything in bags just to get them ready. I've been talking to staff about this. We've received donations from the Eagles, United Way, the Women's Giving Circle in Defiance, and the Rotary. I'm just very grateful for the contributions. The original quote, I didn't even know where to start. I was looking at the free and reduced lunches, and the original quote was at $6,784.38 through current office. Then I priced it through Walmart at $46.62. And then as the donations started to come in, I just started doing Google searches on where I could find the cheapest. Some places I could only order $99 at that price, and then so I'd go to a different site and I'd order it from there. So I was able to get everything for $3,500. So I was really happy with that. Appreciate Mr. Hunter for attending a meeting for me to go get some donations from the Eagles as well. And then in late July, I met with Susan Matt and the Hicksville Community Service Center, and she's actually going to organize this for next year. And I told her that I think we could easily put on a drive maybe in May when the house points go black and the students don't know where the points are at, and we could do a house drive for school supplies for the upcoming year and give those to that group. But we're planning on distributing these August 21st and 22nd. I think we're going to do an instant alert that to the free and reduced families, and we're going to offer 2 times for the free families and 1 time for the reduced, and then they can also pick things up at open house. But right now, what Pam and Sid are trying to do is just put together the packages. It's probably 80% of their school supplies, and then allow the children to pick out their book bag that they would like. So the drive that they just had on August 10th, luckily I had most of the supplies ordered for the elementary side, so I just told Susan that the one thing that I didn't do was backpacks. So she concentrated on the elementary side for backpacks, and then the junior high and high school side will get the supplies that were donated. And I heard that there's a huge amount.
Probably 2.5 skids.
So I think that was pretty successful. So I just appreciate everybody that was involved in that to help make this happen. Kindergarten camp started today. Woo. Huge thanks to the United Way for putting this together. We're very fortunate. We're the only district that is able to offer 2 classes. So we have 23 little kindergartners attending. So yeah, huge thanks to the teachers involved, Ruth Ann for providing a meal. So it's what a great opportunity for these little ones to get to experience a week of school before the intimidation of the big kids come in. They were super excited this morning. I had a question, when do we get to play arcade games? And I'm like, well, we don't, but we're going to play other fun games, you know? So they were just super excited. And we have open house scheduled. Preschool and kindergarten is Tuesday, August 22nd from 6 to 7, and 1 through 12 is on the 24th from 6 to 7. So it's been a good couple weeks.
For us, we had middle school, summer school, started first week of August. Ms. Mack put that on and gave remediation to 7 students who last year struggled a little bit, and we felt like they needed to put a little extra time in this summer to get caught up, so that happened. 7 students successfully completed middle school summer school. We have a few new additions to our staff, some of them obviously you know about, we wanted to point them out. Mrs. Kelly Van Horn is going to be a new intervention specialist teacher for us. Just wanted to welcome her, and she's going to be a great addition for us. Mr. Chris Olson is going to be our new choir teacher, replacing Mrs. Chamberlain, who is going to be our guidance. She's hit the ground running. They see her all the time in here, coming up with ideas and bouncing things off me, and vice versa. It's going to be an exciting change for her, and we're excited to have her. Mrs. Turnbull will actually become our new 7th grade ELA teacher this year. She's replacing Mrs. Brisky, who will actually become our 5th grade social studies teacher. So a little bit of reshuffling. We're kind of reshuffling the ELA department 7 through 12 to give them one grade band to focus on, which I think will be a really good thing for testing. They'll actually get the kids twice a day within their specific grade. So I think that'll be a good thing for us in the district moving forward. Some things coming up. We have our 7th grade orientation Wednesday night, August 16th at 6 o'clock. And we do want all 7th graders and at least one parent to attend that. We'll have an instant alert that goes out tomorrow to remind them that they've also been mailed home as well. Remember that our schedules will not be mailed home. It's parents need to go to Power School to get all that information if they want to get that. And all back to school registration paperwork is completed on the school website. I know a lot of them got it done in August or at the end of May, but if you are coming, that is something that we are still pushing this year, try to, again, save some money with those mailings. We were doing some math of how much they save, and it's really crazy how fast that.
This is hotline right here. We print this off and mail it out. It's about 75 cents per mailing because of the ink, the toner, the paper. And then you're not even including your stuff in the envelopes either. And if you send out one of these every trip in the district, you know, it's $750 just in materials, let alone the person stuffing them. So, you know, we're being very conscientious on how we're communicating with the community.
And we try to get everything out there on Twitter, on Facebook, instant alert, all that kind of information that way. Laptop pickup, I know Mr. Schaefer kind of touched on it, but that'll be the 21st through the 24th. And again, he does a great job. You guys know that. But one of the best tech guys in the area, if not the best. He makes our jobs a lot easier. I like to come up with problems, and 10 minutes later he comes back and solves them. So, we appreciate him and everything he does for us.
I like coming up with solutions that don't work, and he fixes them. Makes them work.
He just beats me at Words with Friends all the time, so I make him feel
Only
really
by
smart.
500.
He's really good.
August 24th is middle school, high school, open house as well. And we hope that our little guys come as excited as hers came today. So again, a chance to meet your teachers, find your lockers, get to know the school a little bit, so that should be good. And August 28th, we're back at it and excited to get started again. So that's all.
Nice job. All right, real quick, welcome back, of course,
Okay,
everyone.
stop right there. He said.
No, this first part's real quick. No, I just want to welcome everyone back, okay? It's so funny, those of you that work in academia, you know, it's like when June first hits, everybody leaves, it's like your emails go from 100 a day down to about 30, and then when July first hits, they go from 30 to like 5 a day, and then August 1st hits, and it's just insane. So it's been really busy in the offices. The secretary's been doing an amazing job as they're in here helping us out. The guidance counselors, of course, Robin, you've been in quite a lot. I've seen Rachel a lot in here. I mean, it's just, we're all hitting it, running right now, and trying to support one another and trying to get a lot of different things taken care of. The whole principal restructuring piece, I want to hit on that a little bit. You know, as we all know, we now have a K-4, 5, 8, and 9, 12 principal, but we all have each other's backs. We're all working together. And one thing we're finding out is, you know, we're excited about the increased focus that we can have on our certain grade band. You know, I'm pretty excited about that opportunity to focus just on high school and the high school, problems and challenges. But at the same time, you know, we're each day finding out, oh man, Andy used to do this or Jeff used to do that. You know, things that typically, you know, weren't always discussed or in the forefront every day. So, you know, we're trying to become more efficient in what we're doing, and of course, be more cost efficient too. And you know, I know Andy brought this up. it's vital, these ACES hotlines that we do, these updates that we do, it's vital that we have parent information and contact information because, just today we were talking about a better opportunity to get this out without mailing it, and not everybody checks email. So we're talking about using links now, adding this to the website or your letter, and then sending out instant alerts to the parents in the text message with that link, so they just click on it, it pops right open. So a lot of different ideas coming around, a lot of discussion. It doesn't seem efficient some days. You sit there for an hour and talk, but there's a lot of really good ideas and in ways that we're going to be able to get things done a little bit quicker, and of course be effective when doing that. So again, we are facing a lot of new challenges, but we're working our way through them. We met with Nancy Mills today and kind of the direction we're going to be going with her. Jen Ripke used to assist us, but we want to congratulate Jen Ripke, who is vital to our district. She's actually the new elementary school principal at Eaton. And Jen was amazing for us, and she was someone that I've actually called her 3 times in the last 2 weeks. She's the principal now, and I'm still asking her questions because she has that kind of knowledge. But she told us anytime we need anything to let her know, but she just might be a little bit busy on her end. Probably. These guys don't get to ask me questions like I'm supposed to know, so I just call her and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. No, but again, a lot of challenges, but we're working our way through them. And again, I'm not going to go over a lot of the same information that Jeff's already hit on and Andy, but these ACES hotlines, the mailing that Mr. Countryman sends out, I added this to his mailing. And if a parent has this email given to us with this, or the cell phone number, we attach the link. All these dates are on here. We talked about the open house, when it is, what time, the dates. We talked about the laptop pickups on our end. Requesting schedule changes. And the opportunity to call the office and schedule an appointment because we want to make sure again that we're respecting the time of the parent and the student that are coming into the school, and also again being efficient in what we're doing and getting things done. So this is going to be a great way to communicate with families. If you have Facebook, if you have Twitter, anything you have, we're putting all this information out there because we know that we're dealing with a society now that's very instant gratification. They need it now, so we're trying to get all that out there. Any important dates, delays, closings, again, we post it on Twitter, we post it on Facebook. If you have that, it's instant access. The school messenger alert system, of course, we use that too. But our job as educators and what we do in our business here is we can't rely on one way to get things done to communicate to people. We have to realize that we may have to communicate 10 different ways to get across to as many people as possible. And some people still may not get the message, but that's okay. We're still doing our best to make sure that we are communicating effectively. I want to point out the RevTrack system on our side of the building. The RevTrack system is something that we use for school fees, lunch deposits, laptop protection plans. I want to point out, like for the 8th grade field trip to Washington, D.C. and our senior trip, we're really going to be pushing parents to use RevTrack to pay those deposits of that money. And a perfect example is, Mr. Clausing, God bless him, there are days when kids are just bringing money in to pay for their Washington, D.C. field trip. And it's not the most comfortable feeling to have $3,000 in your pocket one day, and you're sitting there and you're running down, you literally hold on to your pocket and run down to the treasurer and say, I have $3,000 in my pocket, I need to give this to you, We like to avoid that because it could be a problem. We have concerns with, again, people making claims that are false. So this RevTrack system, as long as you have a credit card or a debit card, you're able to make deposits that way. If you don't have that, come in and talk to us. We'll figure out a better method to deal with that. But we just want to keep that money out of our teachers' hands. We don't want to think about the bad things that can happen with lost money or anything else like that.
We also have a Square account on an iPad in the office, so Tara can just swipe the card right at the office and apply it to whatever accounts it needs to go. So they can bring it in if they can't figure out RevTrack.
And what's really nice about that too is that tracking system. When we swipe your card and you make your payment or your deposit, you get an email receipt or a text message receipt. That way, again, it's that checks and balances piece that goes along with that. My kid lost 2 checks last year bringing them to school for lunch, so I mean, I'm just as bad and guilty as anyone. But again, you don't have to worry about that. So again, RevTrack on the high school side, we're really going to be pushing that this year. New staff on our side of the building, we will welcome Mr. Andy Gahagan. He's going to be our new high school English teacher. He'll be teaching grades 10 and grade 12. And Mr. Hunter, again, hit on this. With testing and the importance of testing and getting these kids prepared for our district, we have realigned our English department to where we have strictly a 7th grade instructor, an 8th grade instructor, a 9-11 instructor with 9th grade ELA testing, and a 10-12 instructor with 10th grade ELA testing. And we're hoping that that's going to, again, allow them grade level, but also now they have something to bounce things off of. Instead of it all being just on Mrs. Burkett, who did 9th and 10th grade the last couple of years. So again, a little bit less stress on them, but also an opportunity to collaborate, work together, and we can also see if we have opportunities of this is working in your classroom, will work in mine type of theory. Athletics. They've started all their practices. Actually, football actually had their first scrimmage last weekend. I want to give all of our athletes and coaches, wish them the best. Best of luck this season. The kids are in school like crazy. I know Dr. Haggerty, Jake North, our athletic trainers, they're working with these kids constantly. So again, we appreciate all the effort put into the teams. We wish them the best of luck. Reminder, all parents, you're going to hear Lindsay's Law, Lindsay's Law, Lindsay's Law. ODE, OHSAA, if you have a child that participates in an extracurricular sport, you have to watch a video with your child, print off the paper, sign it off, and give it to your coaches. I know currently, and I think it's just changed, but it was, if your child played football, basketball, and baseball, you're going to sit down to your kid football season to do it, basketball season to do it, baseball season to do it. I believe that has changed now to where you're going to do it once, or it's in the process of changing. So there you go. Thank you, sir. The coach would know that. Attendance procedures, and this affects the entire K-12. As you know, school districts themselves have gone from the idea of days to hours, and the state wanted it to be more of a uniform system to make sure students are being educated, a certain amount of time. Well, now attendance across the state is going to be figured hours. So we have to start tracking kids by the hour that they are absent. Of course, some of this they leave to local decision. Other items are, implemented by the state and what we have to do. Honestly, I was telling these guys earlier, I think it was in June or July, I actually called the state court or the county courthouse and said, hey, how are we going to enforce this? So I think on Wednesday, we have a meeting with the other school districts in our county, and we're going to meet with Judge Strasball, Jan Lauro, PO officer. They're going to give us some direction and guidance on having a uniform system in our county on how we're going to implement this. And I will say that it's beyond just tracking the hours. They are now expecting us to have contacts prior to an implementation of an attendance intervention team. So we sent them a 5-day letter. We sent them a 10-day letter. We then have to create an intervention team, and we have to meet with the parents and the student. And we have to attempt to contact them at least 3 times, multiple ways, prior to the parent that say they decide not to attend, because eventually once we do have the opportunity to file truancy, which we file about, I'd say 5 to 7 truancy cases a year on our students, the first question they're going to ask us is, well, what is your attendance intervention team policy, and how did you conduct yourselves throughout the year prior to us getting to this point? If we don't follow that policy, then the truancy courts will not punish the child. So it'll be interesting to see what we find out Wednesday and how they're going to handle it on their end of the court system. And then once we have information from them and how they want us to attack the problem, we'll sit down as a district and we will devise a plan and a policy, right, present it to you guys. And I apologize, I know the school year starts in 2 weeks, but it's just kind of a change. They actually implemented this in April. They made the change in April and everybody went. And so then the courts quit accepting truancy policies in April because they said it's changed. How can you can't implement this in April when it takes like 3 months to even get to this way under the new policy. So it's been an interesting change that we're going through right now. But again, hopefully we get that advice on Wednesday and we can move forward with that one.
Thank you. I would like to say, as a board member, I have received numerous text messages and phone calls wanting information, and so it is very nice that you have the quick links and you have all that information. And I was able just to go to our website and share the link of information they needed, and I completely agree with you of trying to just get it out there as much as possible. And it is nice. Most of the information is there, so if you just make it available to them quickly and easily, it usually takes care of the problem.
Yeah, and right here's the key. You say it needs to be quick and easy. We need to give everyone access to the information we're trying to provide. And I know we go back and forth all the time, because it's like, I have principal page, and we also have Facebook, and we also have our district page, and, you know, it's like, does he need to create a middle school page? And, you know, and we've had this discussion of, we want it to be a one-stop shop, but also we don't want to cause confusion, because I actually shared the ACES hotline template with Andy, and I sent out a high school one, and then a day later, he sent out a middle school one. You know, how many parents saw the ACES hotline a second time and said, oh, I've already seen that, and probably passed right over to middle school. So again, we've got, again, some challenges, some communication things, and we're trying to figure out the best way to share all this information. But it's challenging.
I like that word.
It's just your Benjamin's letter. And I hear a lot of that from the ESC and those employees up here who are in 7 or 8 or 9 different schools at times. And then even from, you know, again, we all have friends that are in other districts and parents, and they compliment, oh, we saw that store, or we noticed the graduation requirements or XYZ, that's nice if you share that. By the way, I apologize, I need to share that. So, board members, one more thing, I apologize, I know. Have you guys seen the new graduation requirements for the class of 2018 and class of 2018 only?
You kind of,
Yes. Okay. The state has not lowered its standard, that's what they say. They've just created alternate pathways. And those alternate pathways will get that 42% that we're not on path to graduate, probably all graduate. And then class of 2019, I don't know what they're going to have to do, so we'll see. I'll leave it at that. Yes,
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
Okay, I thought I said that, I couldn't remember. Good.
any other comments for the administrators? Okay. Denny isn't here tonight, but he did say, well, do you want to go ahead and?
They just said that their meeting is not till next week, so he didn't have anything really to report on.
And
Yeah. A few things here. The alumni banquet was held here at the school on 15th of August. I was the guest speaker for that. And I'm sorry, July. July 15th. Steph was there as well, Steph and Miana. And it's nice, well attended. There's over 100, I would think, and it was good. We had a good time, and I took several people on a tour when it was over. The administrative team and Melissa with us all went to our administrative retreat that they put together at the ESC, and that was a one-day thing. The guest speaker there was a Brian Kite. He was the majority of his message was on building an appropriate culture for your building, and Jeff is putting together some things that we got from there that other schools in the county are using that we're going to implement here, but it felt real nice into what we've already started here a few years ago on how we've been improving our culture. Then we split off into our appropriate bands and all have legal updates from our representatives from Columbus. Eric and I and Diane Zedike have met once and worked on bus routes, and then Eric and I met again today. They're just real minor changes from what last year was, and we'll have those new bus stop times, and we'll put that in the paper for next week. It'll go up there and add, and we'll take care of that. And we'll also have that information at the open house for anybody that has questions on bus routes. And the bus drivers will also have that information, and they'll contact any new students and let them know approximate time. I will say with the busing and with everything that's going on in town construction-wise, we're all going to have to be a little bit flexible here for a while. And, you know, we may have to go around the block and get to somebody a different way. And some students may have to walk to get to a certain pickup place. But we'll work through that as we always do. The community breakfast for the staff is Thursday, August 24th, and that's at 7:30. Of course, any of you board members, we'd love to have you there if you could make it. If you can, just let me know, and I'll make sure that I let Angie know. And the chamber does that each year, and you know, I really appreciate that event every year. It's a great kickoff for the teachers, but it also shows the support that we have coming in from the community and how they and we work together to benefit the students here in our community. Friday, August 25th would be our second teacher work day because part of it is on that Thursday. And they've already mentioned about the open houses, so I don't need to mention that again. Students start 1st through 12th grade on the 28th, and then the kindergarten kids start on August 30th, which is a Wednesday. But those students, kindergarten students, will come in on Monday and Tuesday and have an appointment that's determined at their open house, where they go through their kindergarten testing, and then they all come in for class on Wednesday. So I wanted to talk to you about the Huber real quickly, if I could. The Huber, I sit on that board along with several other people, and Jim Schmidt and I have been working hard on trying to find out ways to pay for the Huber, the mortgage, because most people in the community don't realize that they live from check to check, and I can't think that there's anybody in our community that wouldn't think that the Huber has been an awesome place. It's been not completely, but they're still working to restore it, and it's way better than it was in the past, all done through volunteers and donations. And the mortgage has been an issue for us because, with the mortgage, it takes most of that for whatever income that they do get. And so we've been working on a way how we can pay it off. And what Jim has come up with is to find 5 people, individuals, companies that will commit to paying $3,000 a year for 5 years, or $15,000, and that would generate $75,000, which he's worked with Mr. Coburn at the bank, and that should pretty much take care of the mortgage within that 5-year span, and also relieve a lot of the pressure from the Huber right now on making that payment, and then they can use that to have someone work on getting other events and stuff scheduled in there, so it's a little more self-supporting, because there's no income unless there's something that's put on there, and it costs a lot to keep it moving, to keep it upgraded. And if you drive by and look, there's both sides of the building, the bricks are on half of the building are really bad shape. So that's a big project that we're also trying to do, but we're not going to do it until we get money. So a lot of things that they're faced with. So anyhow, they're looking for 5 people or companies that will commit to that $3,000 a year. And I thought it would be an awesome opportunity, a great PR move for our school to be one of those 5 people. So I want to make it clear, first of all, that none of the money would come from the general fund. So the elementary drama fund and the high school drama fund are all self-supporting. They do a show, they get ticket sales, they pay off the show, and they're left with the balance at the end of every year. And I, as you know, have been involved in that for over 15 years, and there's never been a time in that 15 years when we've never not had the money. We have several $1,000s in there typically to start a show for the following year. And the Huber serves as our facility for those events, and not just those events. We have band concerts up there and choir concerts at different times. There's other events that we've done up there. Coronation, exactly. And, that takes the place. When we built the school, we don't need to build an auditorium because we have the Huber. And if you look at the cost of building an auditorium, what the schools spend, it's well over $3 million that schools spend when they build an auditorium. And we don't need to do that because we have the Huber. I think it's a wonderful service project, a wonderful learning lesson that our kids can do. It's not going to cost the school a penny. The kids will do shows, and $1,500 will come from the elementary fund, $1,500 will come from the high school fund, and it'll help support the Huber. And I just really am really proud that the school would be a part of that, because they've served us for so long, and I think it's a way for us to give back and help them out when they really need it. So, I want to make sure that everybody understands that, and I'll be talking at all shows that the elementary and high school does to make sure that we make that clear to everybody that there's no general fund money being used for this project. It's strictly money that comes from the ticket sales from the shows, and all the money to pay the bills for the shows is all done through those ticket sales. No general fund money involved, correct?
Correct.
There you go. So it'd be a good thing for us, and I'm really happy to say that we're part of that. Then I have some exciting news that we've been waiting on for months. Guess what it is?
Our test score.
No,
No, it's the area
Survey.
we're selling it.
the survey. Finally here, exactly. I have these, you can have them, copy of the survey. Basically, what it has done is they've divided it into three plots, as we spoke about, and they're all the same size. It's the frontage of the Arthur Street side. There would be 3 lots that are 18,104 square feet, and this has a legal description of each one of them that I gave to you. But so you have that, and now I'm sure over the next few months you can take your time to decide what you want to do with those properties. As we did state previously, Melissa and I did find out that the only way to get rid of those properties is to auction it off. You have to auction it off by law to the highest bidder. So there's really nothing to discuss there other than if you guys want to auction it off or not. So I give that to you, you can look at it, and then we can add it as a discussion item for our September meeting. Any questions at this point on it?
You said September meeting.
It's just a discussion.
Wow. Well, I guess my question is, if we decide we want to try to sell it this year yet, or we be better off trying to sell it, in September, October, as opposed to November, December, when the weather starts to get crappy out.
Yeah.
So I guess, how do you go about deciding which realtor you're going to use for the public auction? Be some type of a bid, because obviously they're getting commission on it, so.
At Patrick Henry, we did kind of a little, I think we actually worked in conjunction. We actually had to do our RFQs, basically request for qualifications, and they submitted their proposals and how much they were going to charge and what type of commission that they were going to request. And then I think we tried to do a collaboration in which I think they selected one and asked the other then help, because they were both part of the district. I mean, you could see if they would want to work hand in hand a little bit, but they wouldn't have to. So, I mean, because, you don't want to choose one over the other, but I think maybe you take bids or see, if you wanted to talk to them and see what kind of quotes they would want to give to do that.
I guess, is there any way between now and the next board meeting that we can get a little more information on that? So that maybe we can.
Yeah,
I can talk to both of them, see what we could do with suggestions and stuff they may have.
I don't think that it would draw in enough. You know what I mean? I don't think that the cost would be enough that we would actually have to officially bid it. I mean, we could turn around and speak with legal counsel if we have to, but I think, their commission isn't going to be that much. I think we could just turn around and solicit to them and say, hey, are you willing, or would you want to do this for us?
I'll touch base with both realtors, and then we can talk about it in September, and I'll have more information before then. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Any other questions for now on it?
Sell it? Take that realtor, do that?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, we can be at that once.
Yeah, I think you would be at a good point.
When you talk to me, what is the time frame? I mean,
Yeah.
what's advertisement? Are you thinking 30 days or 60 days? And maybe they would say, you're probably better off waiting until March or April, or now's a great time,
Okay.
whatever they would think.
Well, and I think, not that they actually, it would not technically even have to be on site. You could post something if you said that we're going to sell this plot at the gymnasium. You know what I mean? We're going to sell this.
I know what you're saying.
Do it in December, we could do it here.
I think you could do
So
something
what's the
like that.
advantage of having it there versus,
Yeah, right.
So I mean, it would
Do you
just
know where
be
they
kind
did
of
it? When they did the high school lots?
They were
Was that up there?
They were there. Yeah.
Was that the lots?
So, I mean, we could either do it this fall or, like you said, for the spring.
Okay.
And honestly,
I'll touch base.
people wouldn't have to be there either, because those online bids will.
which I'm sure that Guilford's, whoever, and I'm sure they've dealt with all that.
Right, in the past, yeah.
I'll talk to both of them and get more information and have it September. And that covers the items that I had.
So we'll move on to the consent agenda, check and see if there are any items that need to be one, we have to approve the high school municipal book, and the other is we're going to recommend Informatics technology and challenges school kids. Correct? Okay. Now we'll go on to other business. On page 5. Anyone else? If not, we have a motion. Second? And roll call. Carrier? Yes. Bennett?
Yes.
Jones? Yes. Mossman? Yes. Other pass? Motion passes 4-0. Minutes and financials, a motion to go into that, please. Second. All right, your time to shine here.
Awesome. I'm going to try to keep it short, make your point. So, basically,
For that before.
recess.
That's in the first part.
Like, you know I was talking about you. That's all I thought.
Good news, the income tax for the second quarter of calendar year 2017 is up approximately 27% from this time last year. So I think a lot of it was like gross collections are up 8%, but then our refunds were down a lot. So I think that, you must have had people that were paying it more, so we were refunding more. So the net collections were down, but our gross collections are up, like I said, 8%, but our refunds were like almost 50%. So that's good news. So, and then just a couple little things, just to kind of give you a heads up, like if you're looking at your financials on like page 19 of the packet, usually there's kind of some information there in a graph. And you guys can read some of this, like the financing, other financing sources, those were up, but we also had received $39,000 back from Central Local for the cross-categorical room. Personnel services, they appear to be down, but that's because there was 3 pays last fiscal year in the month of July, and this year there's only 2, so that looks to be down, but it's not. I mean, it'll all work out. We also had something in purchase services last year, in which I think energy optimizers, we had paid out of the general fund at the beginning, and then we had reclassified it in September, so that looks to be a little out of whack. And then this year we did have, for my requisitioning software, that everyone's loving right at the moment. Right? Everybody's loving it? Okay, so, wasn't sure if that was sarcasm or not. I've actually had a lot of great reviews on it. I mean, I've had people saying, oh, yeah, this is really nice. So there's not as much paper going back and forth, and I think the teachers, especially now that they're coming into the office, they're seeing things probably process a little quicker, and they kind of know where it is, because they know if it's holding for their principal, or for Keith, or for myself. So, I think the movement and the paper flow is just better. We're still kind of on the payable side, we're still getting all those little kinks worked out, but it's going pretty well. And then for the capital outlay, we did pay the first of our 3 payments for the phone system, so that's not something that we normally have, because it's usually in another section of our budget. And then just that we had total expenditures for the foundation. There was a foundation adjustment for, they make adjustments, kind of as things come in, they do a true up at ODE, and so they make little adjustments throughout the year. So that was there, and I think last year at this time it was 0. So that's just kind of where that is. And like I said at the bottom here, I've only had positive feedback on the requisitioning system. Everyone seems to be liking it. Jeff likes it because it's paperless.
Yeah, I know we get a lot of requisitions in RF, all the athletic programs and the additional supplemental. So it's been very seamless. I mean, you gotta get used to it. I mean, everyone struggled. She did a real nice job explaining it to me. I'm not the quickest learner, so I appreciate your patience on that. I can be needy on that kind of stuff, but I think it's a great step in the right direction. So.
Phone system, are those annual?
Yes.
Okay, so they're
So instead of paying it to the walk-up, we're now paying it to the phone system for 3 years, or to the phone company, so.
Yep. Just a thumbs up to you, because I didn't have any questions on this.
So, like, every time there was a question, I was like, oh, there's our unit there. Okay, good. So, does anybody have? Yeah. Good. Anybody have any questions?
All right. Thank you. We are accepting the following donations: $200 from Jim Schmidt Family Dealerships for Mini Aces Volleyball, $500 from Hicksville Rotary Club for Tools for Schools, and $1,580 from United Way for Tools for Schools. Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better is absent.
Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to employment of certified staff, a motion, please.
So moved.
Recommend to approve the following as Title I tutors for the 2017-2018 school year at a rate of $115 with a maximum of 179 days to be funded through the federal Title I-A grant funds. Miranda Decatur, Jane Maston, Amanda Willitzer. Recommend to approve Kate Haggerty as a Title I tutor for the 2017-2018 school year at a rate of $57.50 with a maximum of 179 days to be funded through the federal Title I-A grant funds. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contracts for the 2017-2018 school year: Sandy Brown, District Mentor Coordinator, and Christopher Olson as Elementary Musical Director. Recommend to approve the following as district mentors for the 2017-2018 school year: Nathan Farrell and Lisa Savage. Discussion.
So the first two were pulled from last month, we weren't sure the title funds, so now everything's kosher and all good and we figured everything out. Yep. Okay.
Roll call, please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better is absent.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Employment of classified staff, I need a motion, please.
No motion.
Jen.
I'll second.
Recommend to approve Sophie Clark as high school office helper for the summer of 2017 for a maximum of 30 hours at minimum wage. Recommend issuing a one-year contract to Trista Franklin as a preschool aide for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend issuing a one-year contract to Elizabeth Knight as custodian, 2 hours a day with 0 years experience from August 28, 2017 to May 30th, 2018. Recommend to approve the following as classified substitutes for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check: Greg Slattery and Carrie Bowles. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contracts for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check for Ashley Baum, the flag instructor, and Amanda Ridgway, freshman class advisor. Recommend to approve the following as volunteers for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check for Amy Haber, gymnastics, Kelly Kreckhold for gymnastics, and Todd Schock for football. Discussion.
The little note that I sent when I sent your board packet, I help you. Okay.
Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better is absent.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Services and agreements, a motion, please. And a second. Recommend to approve an education option program agreement with Wood County Juvenile Detention Center and the Juvenile Residential Center of Northwest Ohio for the 2017-2018 school year. Amount for service to be $64 per student per day for students assigned to JDC, $73 per student per day for students assigned to JRC, $50 per student per day for short-term students assigned to ALC, $55 per student per day for long-term placement over 10 days for students assigned to ALC. And to recommend to approve an agreement with Northwest Ohio Educational Service Center to provide resident educator and mentor services for the 2017-2018 school year. Discussion.
There was discussion earlier about possibly not doing the resident educator program anymore, but they agreed to do it.
Continue through this year. All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better is absent.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Going into other business.
Oh, yeah.
Addendum to employment of certified classified staff, a motion please.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Recommend to accept the resignation from Michelle Swing as bus driver effective for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend issuing a one-year contract to Greg Slattery as bus driver, 1.75 hours per day, with 0 years experience for the 2017-2018 school year. Discussion.
Just today, Michelle submitted a resignation, which you guys have a copy of. And real quickly, we were able to get Greg to pick that up. So it's only a half-time run split between that person and Greg Collins does the other half, so.
Great that Greg's able to
Yeah.
step on my.
I would appreciate a heads up on that one. Just saying.
I will find
Just happened this
something.
afternoon.
Were you volunteering?
Yeah, not both my parents work in the district.
And you are the.
Somebody's got to keep you in line.
I was going to say they're probably doing that intentionally.
You're keeping an eye on you.
Remind me you're the boss.
I know.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
thing.
right. He's been trying that a long time.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All right. Roll call, please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden? Jones?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Better absent.
Motion passes 4-0 with 1 absent. And going on to other business. Motion. Second. All right, we'll take care of the delegate first, and then we'll go into the other two pieces. We do need someone as a delegate and an alternate for the Business and Annual House Boards Association of them.
Who's going for sure? Because I think I'm probably going to go, but I'm not 100% sure that.
It's just one
person.
person.
No, it's 2 this year.
It's 2. It cut out Wednesday. Okay.
So Monday,
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday, we go Sunday night, and then we come back Tuesday. You don't have to go for both days.
No, but I was just thinking it would be one day on my
We're going.
personal day.
We're going for 2 days.
So who wants to do it? Who did it last year?
I did it last year.
Did you like it last year?
I was quicker.
Nothing.
Nominating her.
It's certainly not hard.
Okay, so we can have Minda as the delegate and Jen as the alternate?
Or she could be the delegate
Yeah,
this year.
you could trade off.
Yeah, I'd say, why don't you do it this year, Jen?
That's fine.
All right, so Jen is the delegate and Minda is the alternate.
Plus your name tag, you'll have an additional ribbon.
That's
Another extra thing.
Oh.
Looking forward to it.
All right, and also to accept the high school municipal handbook, with the changes that were made by Mr. Slattery, and to recommend Nathan Arndt as technology intern for the school, 1 hour per day wage. Any discussion? All right, roll call please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Better absent.
Motion passes 4-0, absent. Anybody want to say anything to the board?
Hey, staff, when that attendance meeting occurs, we need a new policy set in place. I'll make additional changes to the handbook, and we'll probably do
Just
is,
pull that part.
yes.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go through and find any place where it says assistant principal,
Yeah,
and
that's
just make sure it says principal.
perfect. All right, I see no need to go into executive session. So we will go into adjournment. Our next meeting will be held on, as of right now, September 11th at 6 o'clock. Are there any conflicts with that? No. All right, September 11th, 6 o'clock.
Before we adjourn, did we make a decision on, is he going to get more information? I mean, because we didn't necessarily have a resolution to say we were going to do it.
I'll get information, email it to you guys, and we can decide before September.
Okay.
We're gonna put that on.
Yeah, I would rather wait till September, but I wasn't 100%.
I would say, Cynthia, right now, there's no guarantee that it's gonna be on to say we're gonna vote to sell it or not sell it in September. I
No, I was talking about the solar field.
The solar.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the.
Did I hold the wrong, oh,
Yeah, you had the other.
oh, did I? Well, my apologies. But no, with the solar field, is that something we're definitely going to,
I think we were going to talk about it in September because he was going to, you were.
I've just emailed him, he already emailed me back 8 contacts for references that they've had anywhere from 254 kilowatts all the way up to, there's a couple big ones, 1.3 megawatt, but all the way up to 7 megawatt field, and they should have aerial photos of all these large fields they have, and they've been around for a while. I just emailed him questions also, asking about what he's experienced in the past on selling back AEP unused. And also the second question was about the location of the field being moved, if there's any issues with that, which I would see that it would be, but.
And I think that was the only issue that we had, was the location.
yeah, and to find out, how other schools have fared after having a few years, that, I mean.
He's checking on that right there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so, just so I understand, we're not putting anything on the agenda in September about selling the property to start. It's still going to be a discussion item next month, am I correct?
I'd like
Would it
to.
come with more information, or do you?
I was hoping that we could get it.
Okay.
I would agree.
Okay.
Because I think the biggest question now is what's the right time and who are we going to go with?
Okay, I'll get that information and email you.
But even if it's something where they say we're recommending wait till spring, and we can still have a resolution to say, hey, we want to do it at such and such time,
On a date.
and then it's all set.
I do need a motion for adjournment. Oh, wait, any other discussion? All right, motion for adjournment, please. Roll call, please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden? Yes. Jones? Yes. Walker?
Yes.
And Better.
Motion passes 4-0, meeting is adjourned.